All right, today we are going to build the complete money roadmap. We're talking about going from that feeling of total financial chaos to having a plan that's actually clear and, makes sense. So let's get right into it.
So this really begs the question, right? We all hear people say, keep it simple. But if simplicity really is the key, what does a complete money roadmap actually look like? What are the real, tangible steps?
Well, I can tell you what it's not. It's not a bunch of scattered advice you piece together from a dozen different websites. It's not a list of random hot tips. What we're talking about here is a single, clear path, one that actually takes you from that constant stress of financial chaos to the calm and confidence that comes with financial security.
Okay, so here's the game plan. First, we're going to figure out why so many of us feel so lost in the first place. Then, we'll walk through the essential stages, achieving stability, building control, and then owning assets, before we get to the more advanced stuff. And definitely stick around, because at the end, we'll talk about why the order of all this is the real secret sauce.
So, let's kick things off with a feeling that's probably pretty familiar: financial overload. And let's be real, most people don't fail with money because they're irresponsible. They fail because the advice they're getting is, well, it's a total mess. You know how it is. You go online looking for a simple answer, and you just get blasted with a fire hose of conflicting opinions. I mean, look at this. This is a real comment from Reddit. Someone's asking about insurance, and you've got one person saying it's top priority, and another person comes in with, yuck, no way. So, who are you supposed to listen to?
And that right there, that gets to the absolute core of the problem. The advice is all over the place, it's impossible to figure out what your priorities should be, and so you end up doing things in the wrong order. And that right there is the #1 reason people just get stuck.
It's like trying to build a house by putting the roof on first. It just doesn't work. People are out there trying to invest before their finances are even stable. They're focused on growing wealth before they've mastered basic financial survival. And the biggest one, they're trying to optimize with complex strategies before they even understand where their money is going each month. A roadmap fixes the order.
Okay, so let's start building this thing correctly. Stage 1 is all about one thing: stability. Forget about building wealth for a second. Before any of that can happen, you absolutely must have a stable base. This is survival first. The goals here are super simple, but they are completely non-negotiable. First, get a basic handle on your expenses. Second, build a small emergency buffer. But really, the whole point of this stage is that third goal: to eliminate that constant low-grade financial panic. You know the one.
And for this to work, we need a concrete target to aim for. A lot of sources, including bank rates, suggest starting with a safety net of at least $1,000. Now let's be clear, this isn't your full emergency fund. Not yet. This is just that first cushion. It's the money that stops a flat tire from becoming a full-blown credit card disaster that sends your whole plan into a tailspin.
And why does this matter so much? Because without that basic stability, every little setback feels like a catastrophe. An unexpected car repair, a surprise medical bill. It feels like a personal crisis. This stage isn't about getting rich. It's about removing the fear from your daily financial decisions so you actually have the breathing room to build something.
All right, once you've got that stability, that breathing room, then you can move on to stage 2, building your foundation. This is where we shift from just surviving to taking deliberate control and getting real clarity on your money.
Now check this out, because the math here is just brutal. We always hear that question, right? Should I pay off debt or invest? Well, just look at the numbers. The average credit card is charging you over 20% interest. Meanwhile, a good long-term return from the stock market is around 9%. Trying to out-invest a 21% debt is like trying to run up a down escalator. It's a losing game, mathematically.
So the mission here is to attack what we call destructive debt. This is any high-interest debt, especially credit cards, that is actively working against you faster than your investments could ever work for you. Eliminating this is, without a doubt, the single most powerful financial move you can make at this stage, period.
Okay, now things start to get really fun. Stage 3 is where we flip the script. We go from playing defense to playing offense. This is all about ownership, actively participating in the systems that actually build wealth. And this, right here, this is the magic. It's called compounding. In year 1 of consistent investing, yeah, the growth feels kind of small. But then you hit year 10, and you're like, whoa, okay, I see something happening. But by year 30, it becomes an unstoppable force. This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a get-wealthy-for-sure system. And it's all powered by time. The mindset shift here is profound.
You're no longer just saving money, that's passive. Now you are owning productive assets. Pieces of companies, maybe real estate, things that are designed to generate more wealth. This is where real wealth actually starts to build, quietly and consistently in the background.
So, for those who've mastered those first 3 stages, then we enter the advanced stages. This phase really breaks down into 2 distinct critical parts: protection and then optimization. First up is protection. As your assets grow, your focus actually shifts to resilience. We're talking about risk management and diversification, making sure one bad decision or one crazy market crash can't undo all your progress. You have to remember, wealth that isn't protected is temporary. Only after your assets are protected does it make any sense to think about optimization. This is like the final 5% of the journey. Refining tax strategies, making your financial machine run just a little more efficiently. And here's the punchline. Most people get totally overwhelmed because they try to start here. On a proper roadmap, it's the very last thing you worry about.
So let's bring it all home. Why is this specific order so powerful? Why does this roadmap actually work when a bunch of random tips just fail?
It's because it's a sequence. Each stage builds upon the last, creating a structure that is strong and resilient. Stability lets you build a foundation. The foundation lets you pursue ownership. Ownership gives you assets worth protecting, and only when they're protected does it make any sense to optimize. It's a ladder. And, this should feel incredibly empowering. You don't need to be a genius to succeed with money. You don't need to perfectly time the market or pay constant attention to the financial news. And you absolutely do not need some complicated spreadsheet to get started. You just need order. That's the secret. Financial security isn't some great mystery reserved for the elite. It's a sequence. Follow the sequence and clarity replaces chaos. So we've laid out the entire map, from beginning to end. But a map is only useful if you know how to use it. Which brings us to our final question. Now that you have the roadmap, how do you actually apply it in real life, starting today? Well, we'll tackle that in our next explainer.